What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of the GZ Chop Shop podcast. I am your host, Project Katachi. I know why Warner's is laughing. PTSD from accidentally. I have a, when you got to do all this on your own, you make mistakes sometimes, okay? Guys, we had a little mishap with the first time we did the intro.
You fucked up the intro.
I messed up the intro. I messed up the intro that you guys didn't hear, okay? So don't worry about it. It never happened. Anyway, moving on. I do have like some PTSD from that now. So thanks. We're gonna have some interesting conversations today.
Yeah,
we're
we
gonna
are.
talk a little movies. We're gonna talk a little anime. And speaking of anime, you asked me yesterday. You were like, "Hey, I need some suggestions for High Dive." And being the good friend that I am, I went and I perused.
I've been neglecting High Dive.
Yeah. So
Did you just say perusing again?
yes, I was waiting to wonder if you're going to address the perusing. I was going to be like, the word of the day is now perusing.
I'm so tired of you using that word. Okay, go ahead.
I will never stop using that word. I'm sorry, not sorry. How much of a degenerate do you feel like being today?
All right, full blown. What do you got for me?
All right. I have 2 anime for you.
Okay.
And I am sure that those of the degenerate anime community, myself included, know these very well. And they're new. They are new. So the first one is, I'm living with an otaku ni kunoichi.
I don't know what any of those words mean.
I will say this, and this is all I'm going to say on the previous topic we had talked about. Both of these animes I'm going to name for you are definitely comedic fan service animes. I didn't look up any reviews. I didn't look anything up. I walked in completely blind and I was like, this is where we're at on High Dive. And this one, the first one I gave you, the Kunoichi one, is definitely the more mild of the 2 that I'm going to give you. But it is really good.
When you say degenerate.
Oh, yeah. The second one's going to be worse.
Okay. I'm just going to go into this. No more details. I'm just going to go into it. And then I'll get back to you. Like, at
I
some
love
point
that.
on what. I'm sorry. I'm struggling more than I thought it would right now.
That's what you get for making fun of me with the intro.
No, full disclosure, I did something super white. Ty's not here to appreciate it though, because he would have had a field day with this. Would you like to guess what it is?
Oh my goodness. No, I feel like the show dynamic
Living
would
with a
change.
Kanoichi. Am I? How do you say it?
You can do
Kanoichi.
it. Kunoichi.
Kanoichi anime. Okay, I'll check it out.
All right.
So I stopped at Buc-ee's on the way here. I was like, what's the most American Texan thing I can do on the way home? Stop at Buc-ee's. Okay. I don't go there very often, but I wanted some beef jerky. They had a beef jerky I've never had before. It's ghost pepper.
Why would you
Beef jerky.
do that?
Well, I don't know, but this is where it gets extra really white. You're going to love this. You know what I'm drinking with it?
Don't say milk.
Milk.
Well, that's what you get.
Anyways,
That's what you get. All right. Are you ready for the second one?
what's the second one?
The second one is very unassuming, but it's called Behi Neko. The elf girl's cat is secretly an S-ranked monster.
Why are these titles so long? Okay.
Now, nobody tell him what this show is about. He's going to go in
Say it
blind,
again?
and then he'll tell us next time.
I'm writing it on my list. Say it
Yeah.
again.
Okay, so it is called Behet Neko. Basically, it's an acronym of Behemoth and Neko. The elf girl's cat is secretly an S-ranked monster. Those are your 2 new anime for High Dive.
We'll shorthand that. Okay. I'll give them a try. I'm not going to look it up. I just wrote it down on my list.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
And everyone who has watched it currently, because they're new, so they're not finished yet, I will not be taking questions, and we listen and we don't judge. That is all. So, yeah, take your sip of milk, man. Oh my gosh. I don't know why you would give yourself ghost peppers before the pie.
My eyes hurt.
That's what you get.
But
So,
not as bad
in the same vein of,
as my mouth. Breathing hurts.
in the same vein of anime, Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, yeah. 2027, right?
2027, they're going to drop an
Crunchyroll.
anime.
What studio? Or do we know yet?
So A lot of the details are still being worked on. As far as I know, it's Aniplex in partnership with Sony is working on the anime, and sorry if I butcher the name, but Takanobu Mizuno, who did Star Wars Vision's The Duel episode, will direct the series at Kamikaze Doga, with Gen Urobuchi writing the story composition. And right here it says, the anime will be produced in collaboration with Aniplex, with Sony Music serving as music and soundtrack partner, but who is on the staff and cast was not announced at the time, but it's supposed to be rolling out in 2027.
Aniplex, man, they're going to be flashy. Aniplex can make like the worst storyline, but the most like on the animation.
Yeah, the most visually appealing.
So yeah, it's probably going to be pretty dope.
I think it's going to be pretty good as long as they don't try to change too much.
Aniplex, like who
owns it?
Yeah, who owns Aniplex?
That is a good question.
Because somebody is, every time they drop an anime, somebody is like, what's the budget? And they're like, it doesn't matter what the budget is. And they just give them infinite, just do what you want.
Well, this is funny. I just learned something new. Sony Music Entertainment Japan Incorporated owns Aniplex.
So why are they making so many shitty movies? Are they putting their whole budget into just animes? All the budgets are just going into animations and animes, and then they just put out like shitty movies.
I think it depends on what branch is working on it, because there's different branches of Aniplex. You have Aniplex of America, and I'm sure they've got other branches working on it. So probably depends on the branch that is taking charge of it. Who knows? But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is going to have an anime in 2027. And that actually made me get back into it, which I wrote a blog on it. So if you guys want some more details, you can visit our website, gzchopshoppodcast.com, and read the blog on it for more information. And this all came out during Sony's CES 2025, I guess you could call it Expo, convention, whatever they want to call it. Basically, it was their tech talk where they're revealing a lot of projects and stuff that they're working on. And it seems like Sony's really focused on turning games into movies and full series spin-offs.
I think, the anime route with games is a good route to go down.
I agree.
Because the live actions just don't translate well. They're not done very well for the most part. But like Castlevania was a great example.
Castlevania is phenomenal.
I know people have their problems with it, but the first Castlevania, so good. The writing was insanely good. I thought the writing was awesome. Nocturne, I was mixed about. I didn't dislike it. I think what I didn't like about it was that they made the Belmont this time like Richter. They made him. I just didn't like that scene where he like pissed himself damn near and ran away. Like it just bothered me
from his mother's.
So yeah, like it just bothered me that he was portrayed like that, because he, like, lore wise, he's like one of the best. And I get, like, there's nothing wrong with like a story where he has to overcome things. I just didn't like that they did that. I thought it was strange.
I think, and this is just my opinion, there's no facts backing it. I'm just judging it off of certain tendencies that Netflix and Disney tend to have, that Castlevania, the first season, didn't suffer from, but it seemed like they leaned a little too hard into a Nocturne, and I'm hoping that they balance it out in season 2 of Nocturne. Is, Richter, it looked like they really wanted to have Richter take a back seat.
Yeah, but it's about the Belmont.
It's about the Belmont.
And Dracula. It's never been about anyone. There are other people that are involved and side characters that matter. But yeah. I'm hoping in the second season, it's coming out, in 5 days on the 19th?
Yeah.
So
I hope they course correct a little bit on that, because it seemed like they were trying to do a strong push, because in the first season, Trevor and I cannot remember her name, they wound up getting married in the end. the balance between those two was perfect. He could not accomplish his mission without her, and they needed each other just as much.
They were flushed out and were very equal in terms of like what they were doing and a lot of screen time and stuff, and they worked well together. But you know what? The first season of Nocturne, it was also very heavy on backstories.
Yeah.
And maybe the first season is just going to be a lot of that, like world building and backstories. And the second season, we have Alucard coming in, and maybe Alucard's going to be like, "You're a Belmont. What are you doing?" Like,
yeah, maybe he can course correct him.
So we'll see.
We'll
see. So, yes,
Sypha. Sypha. I liked how they had that balanced chemistry. I do feel with Nocturne they tried to lean, like you said, there was a lot of backstory, but I also feel they tried to lean too heavily the opposite way. Like they included Richter to have a Belmont. Yeah. But then they kind of were like, but we don't want it to be about a Belmont.
Which is what Castlevania is about the Belmont.
And I'm like, okay, not understanding what's happening here. And the scene you were talking about where he ran away from his mother's killer and freaked out, and that was a very heavily debated scene. A lot of people are like, WTF, what the heck's going on? That scene bothered me as well, but for a different reason, was because I get they were trying to show that these other characters were tough enough and holding their ground, but the fact that they constantly through the series were ignoring Richter's warnings when he constantly told them, this guy is a danger. He is a problem. We see him, we run.
Yeah.
And they refused to listen to him. And then when things went sideways, they blamed him for things going sideways when he said, this guy's going to be a problem. We need to run if we run into him.
Right.
And I'm like,
all rock.
Yeah. And there you go. And
I'm
like,
I actually like how they portrayed. I did like how they portrayed him. They nailed him pretty good as far as like his aesthetic, and I feel like kind of his, I don't want to like swagger a swagger a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he has like a way about him, but yeah, we'll see how they do it. But I think they'll course correct a little bit.
I think they will. As long as Netflix doesn't try to take too many liberties because they had a successful.
It was missing the kind of grit that the first Castlevania had. But anyways, I could talk about this all day.
Next thing that came up was Sony once again working in the media limelight. Helldivers is getting a movie. I do not know if it's going to be CG, animated, or live action. I assume it's going to be live action because Helldivers.
So. I am so excited for this.
I am too, to be completely honest. I am too. And I'm going to guess it's going to be live action because it's heavily inspired by Starship Troopers. So it would only make sense to make it live action to do it justice.
I always love a reason to talk about Starship Troopers. People, if you have never watched the movie Starship Troopers from 1997, I highly recommend it. It is amazing. Okay. It is not award winning in any way. This is not an Oscar movie. Okay. But it is amazing. And I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you have seen the movie, you might not have ever read the book. I don't know that many people who have read the book. The book is by Robert Heinlein, and it was actually written 1959, I think. And it is not satire like the movie is. It's very it's
political,
more of like a
It's more political, isn't it?
It's just more of a political essay, and it was very controversial. And actually, one of the main reasons the movie was made satirical was because too many people and entities during production and during the initial writing periods were like, no, like we cannot make this movie. So I'm glad they did what they did. And I love that Helldivers leans into that. And they're like, we were influenced by this. We obviously were. And the game's amazing. So I can't wait to see the movie.
Yeah, the game is seeing a resurgence.
They just run with it. Just freaking have a blast.
I could see them having a blast with it because it doesn't take itself too seriously anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they have a little bit more free reign with it. And I know it's possible, but I'm going to go out on hope here that there's almost no way for them to screw it up. I know it's possible, but I'm going to say
there's no way to screw it up. There really isn't a way to screw it up.
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, because it's
the entire
influenced
game's
by
a joke.
satire.
Yeah.
And it's a joke of itself. So it's kind of like you can pretty much do anything with it, you know, and the game just had a huge resurgence. So there's a chance for more fans to come in. Because I know like fans were disappointed for a good while with some of the changes and updates and stuff Helldivers was dropping, and then they brought in the Illuminati, and now it's seeing a resurgence, so everyone's playing again. So a Helldivers movie that was not on my bingo card, but I am totally for it. I'm like,
oh yeah. As a matter of fact, it's about time I haven't checked out the DLC. Guys, full disclosure here, I started playing Satisfactory again. Because the game finally released. The game finally released in full. It's not quite the same game as it was before. The factory building is plus some. But the creatures and the environment and some of the hazards, they buffed everything. Okay, I honestly thought the creatures were going to get nerfed, but anyways,
they went the opposite direction with that.
I'm really into Satisfactory right now. It's very, very just meditative and enjoyable. They're not paying me to say this. I wish they were.
Can we get sponsored by Satisfactory?
Like an ad.
No, Satisfactory is an enjoyable game. You just have to be in a I want to say a good mental state to play. You can't have a fried brain like I've had for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because there's math involved. When you get really into it, you might as well be balancing equations and have an engineering degree. But it's so fun and enjoyable to learn those things as you're playing through the game. So hopefully I can get my mind right and get back into it.
The Helldivers, when is it coming out? I don't
believe they have a release date for the Helldivers movie yet.
Let's take a
supposed to go into production.
Oh, here we go. Into production. So this year it's going into production. Okay. Well. Man, Helldivers 2, 12 million copies in 12 weeks. That's...
Yep. It's 1 million. Yeah. Yep.
And solid game, dude. This is just make fun games. That's all it is, man. Make fun games without any agendas. Just make a fun game.
Yeah. That's all most gamers want. Just a fun game, good story, a game that works.
A game that works is nice.
Yeah.
I remember when games used to not work on release back in the day. It was more like them not working was more like there was glitches you could exploit for fun.
Mm-hmm.
But now when a game doesn't work, it doesn't work, and there's not any glitches to exploit as much.
It just literally doesn't
broken.
Function.
And then it's 5 DLCs later, the game might be complete. I just described Destiny 2.
Yeah, you did.
What's next on the old agenda today?
Well, there's another movie that they announced, and this was not on my bingo card, but Horizon is getting a movie.
Like the video game Horizon.
Yep.
Is getting a movie?
They're getting a movie.
It's actually going to be cool.
Yep.
That's going to be really cool, man. That whole game is cool. I know the second one didn't get as much love, which I disagree. Do you hate lore? I'm sorry. The lore in that game was pretty fun.
The Horizon story, the Horizon world is very immersive. I love the lore. It's well thought out. The second one suffered from what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, was more people cared about how Aloy looked. So a lot of people were they were like, oh my gosh, why did you make Aloy ugly? And then that's what everyone got stuck on. So the game didn't do as well because Aloy's appearance got changed. Now, to be fair, the devs going out of their way to say they intentionally made her less beautiful for XYZ reasons didn't help.
You know what? I honestly forgot about that. It's been a while. I kind of forgot about that because honestly, it's because when I play games, I don't give a shit. I just want to play the game. Is it fun? Is it lore intensive? Do I enjoy the gameplay? And then maybe stuff like that sometimes bothers me. I can understand why it might bother some people, I guess. But for the most part, I just want to play a fun game, man. And I enjoyed it. It was a fun game. And the lore is pretty sick.
So they are going to have a movie, but there's not a lot of information on it. We don't know.
Okay, so it's kind of just we're having a movie and then that's it. Not even a production date.
Yeah. And if I were them, I would keep it on the hush. I would let people forget, because once the casting drops, you already know.
I think the best thing to do with game and anime live actions is, first of all, don't make anime live actions. I think One Piece did okay with Oda on board, but otherwise, like, it just doesn't, not really. Anyways, but the games being made in live action, the best thing to do is to say nothing, and then don't build it up for 6 months and be like, you know what I mean? Like, they hype it up, right? And then you go see it, and then you give people time to pick shit apart and whine and complain.
Yeah.
Say nothing, and then just fucking randomly release the movie. And then people are like, oh, shit, because what's going to happen? It's going to surprise everyone. And that is the hype. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, what? And then everyone rushes to go see it.
Yeah.
That's what I would.
Yeah. And the problem is too that
If I was a Hollywood director,
marketing got put on such a high pedestal across all medias. That's like 90% of the budget for
marketing
everything.
got so obnoxious, dude. And I think Disney and Sony are the most obnoxious about it. Somehow Sony, like, they've been making the shittiest movies with the most marketing. What was the one that just did, because Madam Web, that one was horrible. That one did poorly. Yeah. I was actually surprised, because I like the preview did look kind of cool, but I wonder what it suffered from. I think Yuli was telling me, he's like, yeah, the entire, like, the trailer was the movie. And, like, in the movie, everything else was dialogue. Like, he said that's basically what it was.
So they showed you all the action that was actually in the movie.
That's what he said, basically, more or less. And then people were like, what the hell is this?
Well, I don't.
But also, like, it's tricky, because Deadpool is a Disney movie, but it got away with already not, well, it was not a Disney movie to begin with. Got a huge following, and then Disney was like, okay, we'll run with this, and it was already popular. It could get away with things, and it was done the right way. But to make a Disney Marvel movie rated R with that much blood and stuff, I think that's a tricky area, because that's a new area for Disney. You know what I mean? Like, they only recently started being like, all right, let's add a bunch of horror and blood and psycho shit, and then put it on Disney Plus. But I hope your kids don't see it. Like, Disney is crazy right now.
They're trying to be the end all be all. Like what was it? Like, comedy skits pointing out, like, Disney just taking over all of mainstream media.
Disney Plus does nothing for me. I don't know.
After they started butchering Star Wars, I keep it mainly for X-Men and the good
X-Men.
Star Wars.
The X-Men was good. They killed that. They got rid of some people's nice, you know what, their butts. They changed them.
Now here's the thing.
They flattened them.
I have an issue, and
they gave him the main.
You're really traumatized by this.
Yeah. Gabble ass. That's what they. Gavel ass.
Hey, I have a question. And for anyone who listens overseas, maybe I've been misunderstanding it and I just read it wrong. But why? So apparently in other countries, Bleach is on Disney Plus, and so are some of the other animes. They're all in Disney Plus. Why here in the US, where Disney was born, we have it split between two services?
Because over here, we have to work twice as much for the same shit.
Because that drove me insane.
Because that's capitalism. That's consumerism. Like, fuck you, pay. Like,
it ticks me off.
The tier system has ruined streaming.
It really has.
Like,
we're
honestly,
literally
just
back
give
in
me
cable.
cable back.
It's cable.
Let me doom scroll. Let me go back to the original doom scroll, going through the guide.
Yep.
Until I find something that looks good enough.
Yep.
And then fall asleep during commercials. Like,
because that drives me insane. Every time I would read an article and then people are like, yeah, you know, they were watching Bleach on Disney Plus. And I'm like, you were watching Bleach where? I had to get Hulu. To watch
that's
Bleach.
Another thing is I've noticed if you do not get Crunchyroll through another app, get Crunchyroll separately.
Yeah.
If you get Crunchyroll through Hulu or Amazon or whatever, you're going to be missing shit.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's going on there, but obviously something's happening and they're purposely not giving you all of Crunchyroll. And I don't even know if it's legal, dude, to be honest. And I noticed it with Hulu. Hulu and Disney Plus are supposed to go together. But you'll have shit on Hulu that should be on Disney, and other people will have on Disney in other countries, but it's on Hulu here, and then vice versa the other way. And they will promote stuff as if they have it on certain tiers, and then when you get that tier, right, it's not there. But I noticed it with Funimation back when Funimation was around and Crunchyroll. I tried it out. I was like, I wonder if, it looked like you'd save money. And I'm like, well, maybe it looks that way because you're not getting half the fucking animes.
Yeah.
So I don't do that. My priority streaming app is Crunchyroll. And then everything else is Crunchyroll, High Dive, and everyone else has to fight for spot 3.
That's kind of where I'm at. Crunchyroll is my main. I'll croak before I give up Crunchyroll.
I want to bring Celebrity Deathmatch back. I would love if a creator out there would make Celebrity Deathmatch on YouTube and like the claymation, but like modernize it. And I want to see just Netflix and Amazon or Netflix and Disney in the same ring, just beating the shit out of each other.
Unfortunately,
and then like Amazon comes in with the Amazon has a chair, and like he just comes in and fucking like stabs Disney through the chest, and Disney's like shit, and then like I don't fucking know, and then whatever. Netflix is like,
so obviously you want Disney to go down.
I want all of them to go down, but I want one of them to get hit with a chair.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's really frustrating, especially as an anime watcher, having my favorite stuff split up among like 7 different platforms.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid,
and it's really annoying. And I'm just like, and it's never gonna change unless all the other companies somehow collapse and there's only one. Now, the only bundle I'm doing right now, and it's kind of been worth it for now until they change it again, is I get Hulu, Disney, and Max all together. So until they change it, and by change it, I mean when they raise the price again and don't grandfather anyone, that was the only reason I have them.
Skits on my own because of before streaming got huge, right? Kind of back in the day, I always of all the, I guess it's like studios or companies, production studios, whatever, I liked the most was HBO. I liked HBO because the shows they put out were typically really good. Like they almost never missed. And then, there was the Wire back in the day, and then Game of Thrones, Sopranos, all these really good shows. And then when streaming services came out, there was that bullshit with like HBO, and then there was HBO Max, and then there was Max. You know what I mean? Like they kept,
once Warner Brothers
kept
involved,
fucking around and like chop and block stuff, and that stuff started like pissing me off.
Yeah. Well, that's the name of the game in business: mergers, buyouts, layoffs. It all creates a problem. But let us know what you guys think. Are you looking forward to some of these animes, movies that are coming down in the near future? And also, in case you guys don't know, you can submit your thoughts on our website. I always say, tell us on the website, but you can submit a voice clip that we might play in a future episode, sharing your thoughts. We are going to vet them before we play them, because I know some of you guys.
I would love to not vet them, and then like I play one and it's someone just saying shitty things to me.
I don't want to get
okay with it.
Canceled. I don't want to get canceled. Think of our sponsor.
Yeah, they might bring race in for you, but I'm good.
Yeah,
we'll vet yours.
Yeah. We got to vet it. But anyway, you guys can go to the website, jeezychopshopodcast.com.
I'll drink milk too.
Lower right-hand corner,
what they say.
There's a little microphone you guys can click to float the voice clips that you can submit to the show that we are going to vet before we play them on the air. Just drink your milk, man. Drink your milk. Ghost pepper.
Gotta go warm.
But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Take care of yourself and each other, and we'll catch all you wonderful people on the next podcast.
Yep.
Later.